Hey everybody, welcome back to our fall series.
What's up, y'all?
Today is video number 2 and we're going to be making some pumpkin cheesecake bars. This is definitely my favorite dessert that we've done on our channel so far.
And I can see why.
There's so much flavor in these bars. You guys just have to make them and try them for yourself to see what we're talking about. So if you're interested in seeing how we made these, just keep on watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And hit the notification bell so you know when we post our next video. Alright guys, let's get started with the recipe.
Okay, so let's get into our ingredients for our pumpkin cheesecake bars. Now we're going to be making our own crust today. So we've already ground up our graham crackers and we're going to be using those and along with some butter and granulated sugar. That's going to be our crust. Now for our cheesecake layer, we have 2 8-ounce bars of cream cheese. We're going to be using granulated sugar along with sour cream and 2 eggs and also some vanilla. Now that's our cheesecake layer and our crust. Now for our pumpkin layer, we're going to be using some vanilla for this as well. We have a little bit of water here, some pumpkin puree, some pure pumpkin puree, and we have some ground cinnamon, pumpkin pie spice, brown sugar, 2 eggs, some granulated sugar, we have whole milk, and also some unflavored gelatin. Alright, those are all of our ingredients, and as usual, all of our ingredients will be listed below our video with their exact measurements. Alright guys, let's get started. Okay, so getting started on our crust, we've already prepared our graham crackers. We put them in a food processor. We've shown that on our channel before. We've put them in a food processor and we've put them in a plastic bag and just, mash them, crush them really well. So it's up to you if you don't want them this small. We've also added sugar here. I'm just going to mix that a little bit. As you can see, I didn't know which utensil I wanted to use. It was getting on my nerves. So to that mixture of the graham crackers and the sugar, now I'm just adding some butter. And this is where our buttery goodness comes from. And that crust. So we just want to make sure they're all the crackers are coated really well in the butter. So this is what's going to go into our pan. So it's really good. You want just like a sand texture. And we're also going to add a little bit of pumpkin pie spice. Well, not a little bit. We were kind of, I said a little bit, but it's actually not. It's we were generous, really.
And if you don't like it, you obviously don't have to put that much, or you don't have to put it at all. It was just, we felt like it complemented the dish really well.
Yeah. So here we just put a little bit of olive oil in our pan, and we will just rub it around the bottom and the sides. And here we have some paper here.
Some parchment paper.
Parchment paper, thank you. And we just kind of crisscross the paper, on both ways, width and length, to give us the basically handles, I guess, if you will, to lift the dish out of the container when we're done.
Yeah, I would say that's a really, really important step. You could use foil and you could use parchment paper. We went with parchment paper because foil has the tendency to sometimes stick to things you're cooking. I mean, there's plenty of butter in that crust, but still, you just never know. We would just wanted to use parchment paper, but you have to use something, or you'll have a really hard time getting it out, unless you're not going to get it out and then cut it. You can cut it right in the pan and just kind of take them out. But
and just flatten this crust really well, like I'm doing. I'm using a spatula, and it worked really good though. So it's kind of heavy. That spatula has some weight to it, so that helped to make sure it was nice and flattened, and it just came one cohesive piece. Like she was saying, you don't have to use anything at all. You can just put it in your pan if you want and just cut it right in there, but we wanted to do it this way. So
now I'm getting started on the cheesecake layer. So this is just 2 blocks of cream cheese, and I'm just mixing them a little bit just to loosen it up. And now I'm adding in my sour cream. This is actually the same exact recipe as the cheesecake video that we have, but it's just a little less cream cheese. Instead of 4, we use 2. So we're just gonna put the sour cream in there and blend it up. And I'm scraping down the bowl with this tiny spatula.
You know what? I'm going to take this spatula out of the kitchen. It gets on my nerve. It's always just right there.
It finds its way into some giant bowl.
Into some video.
Right. So now I've added my sugar and I'm going to blend that. It's important that you blend your cream cheese mixture really well because you could miss lumps and you don't want a lump of cream cheese or a lump of sugar or whatever in your dessert while you're eating it.
This was so smooth and creamy, y'all.
Yeah.
So good.
So now I'm adding in my 2 eggs. Sometimes you can, mix after 1 egg. You can put both in and mix, and I just decided to do, 1 egg at a time. It just helps to mix stuff up really good.
Right.
You definitely don't want egg just chilling around in your dish because you are going to put this in the oven and you'll have scrambled eggs.
Right.
So now I'm adding in some vanilla. As always, we don't measure our vanilla.
We love it.
Put in, And we're going to add some cinnamon. You could flavor your cheesecake however you want to. We just decided to go with cinnamon because it's fall-ish. Cinnamon and vanilla. You could put some of that pumpkin pie spice in there too. It'd be really good.
Oh my goodness, yeah. That was just great. This recipe was amazing.
And it also made it look really pretty because you saw little specks of cinnamon in it.
Oh, right.
Once it was done. But so I just scraped my bowl really good. And now we're going to put the cheesecake layer into our prepared crust. And this is going to go in the oven. This cook for about 30 to 35 minutes at 350 degrees. So you'll know when it's done when it's set and there's just a slight jiggle to it. You don't want it doing the body roll or nothing. But you just want it to be just a slight jiggle if there's going to be any movement at all. You don't want it to be stiff because it still is a cheesecake. But, but yeah, just keep an eye on it. You don't want to overcook it. So now we're doing the pumpkin layer.
I just love this recipe too because each layer requires its own care. Like, you didn't just throw everything in there.
Right.
You had to make sure you made the crust correctly, mix the cheesecake up, and then the pumpkin. And there were just so many ingredients in each, each layer just really tasted really well together. They complemented each other. And you can taste each layer as you eat the bar. So.
But this is the pumpkin layer. So it has pumpkin puree, brown sugar, white sugar, a couple eggs, some whole milk, and pumpkin pie spice and cinnamon. And we're gonna put some vanilla in there, of course, a little bit later. But just mix it up a little bit, try to get everything cohesive.
The pumpkin is not my favorite, actually, but I love it with cheesecake. I just learned. I love it with cheesecake. I'm a sweet potato pie girl. But pumpkin, I can tolerate it with other things, like this cheesecake. Or if you put it in like some bread or something like that, I can tolerate the flavor. But it's not really my favorite. But these bars right here, did the trick.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It's like I like pumpkin things. I love all types of pumpkin, but during the holidays, I'm gonna need some sweet potato pie.
Yeah. I do love the pumpkin pie spice creamer that we get.
It's delicious.
Good. So it's just so fallish, and I love that. So
the pumpkin mixture cooked for about 10 minutes, and then I turned the heat off and then added the vanilla. And now I'm doing the gelatin. You want to dissolve your gelatin in the water. I just put the water in the pot and turn the heat on and just pour the gelatin on the water, basically on top of the water, and let it get saturated. And then by the time it got hot, it was about 5 minutes or so, and then I mixed it until it was all the way dissolved, and then I added it to our pumpkin mixture.
And that makes the texture just right, for the pumpkin.
It's not like Jell-O at all. It's just to make sure it firms up when you put it in the refrigerator.
And we left ours in the refrigerator for a while. So.
You could do a few hours to overnight. We did it overnight. So this is the cheesecake. It's done, and you want to make sure your pumpkin mixture has cooled just slightly because you don't want to disturb anything with the cheesecake layer.
Right, yeah, we decided to let it cool, at least to room temperature.
Yeah. So now we're spreading that out just like we did the cheesecake layer.
Make sure you get everything in the corners, all the layers, that's important.
And another thing we did while doing this, we kind of looked at the side of the pan. We have a glass pan, so that's, I guess, a little tip that could help you. We looked at the side to see the thickness of the pumpkin layer through the glass.
Right.
So we knew, it was even and there wasn't any spots that had a little bit of pumpkin. You want to make sure the ratio was kind of, equal.
Right.
So this is the next day, and as you can see, this just easily lifts out of the pan.
That was great.
That teamwork.
This was fun to make. Man, I had so much fun cutting this. Y'all just don't know.
Right?
I was like, Ricki, I can cut it. Let me see if I can get it even.
Right.
So
yeah, you'll see my hands in there. So, it'll take a little teamwork because we wanted ours to be pretty exact as far as the evenness. I mean, they still weren't all that symmetric, but they were even enough for us.
Right.
So we cut off our edges to give our bars all clean sides.
Right.
But if you're just making this just to eat for your family or whatever, and you're not taking it anywhere, or you don't really care about how it looks, you can definitely keep those on. I mean, we ate those.
Okay.
But
yeah, if you're not putting it on YouTube or anything.
Right. You can see me in there with a little tape measure.
Okay.
That did not touch the pumpkin bars, just so you know.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's a good point to make.
Right.
Because I was like, oh, don't touch it. Make sure you don't touch it. So
we got we cut 12 bars, and I think we did like 2 3/4 of an inch.
Yeah, for each bar.
Yeah, going the long way, and then the other one was like a little bit less than 2 3/4. If you wanted to know. But yeah, these are very easy to cut. As you can see, they're kind of sliding around the parchment paper, so we had no issues with sticking or anything.
Very easy to work with. And look how the layers are defined.
Yes.
Oh, so good.
But we topped ours with Ready Whip and cinnamon and pumpkin pie spice, and you can leave them just like this. You don't have to put anything on top of them, but I think it complemented it really well. Because these are they can definitely stand on their own.
Yes. And you can also use pumpkin flavored whipped cream.
Yes, my brother actually suggested using some pumpkin flavored whipped cream. We gotta try that too. But if you guys enjoyed this video, let us know down in the comments. If you have any questions or anything,
let us know if you make it.
And let us know what your favorite season is.
And
you can see who watches to the end.
Right.
Alright guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Click the notification bell so you know when we post our next video. And stay tuned for the fall series. I'm obsessed. So,
alright. See you next time, guys. Thanks for joining us today.
Bye.
Bye-bye.